Hello, welcome to March 6th, 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is something that I do each and every day, a little bit after waking up, to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met. I recite the 8 objectives of my creed so that I keep my alignment correct with how I want to live my life, and I plan for the coming day. But first, let's kick things off with welcome to my new subscribers on YouTube. Hello, it's good to have you here. And I need to let you know that although this is in Japan, this is not a video about Japan. These Good Life meditations are my daily diary entries about my life. I talk about the challenges that I faced and any opportunities that I had that I made good use of, or the opportunities that I made bad use of, especially. Actually, it's the negative side that I'm typically most interested in, because that's where I have the opportunity to improve and learn, although I do try to point out the good stuff too. So I'm a very optimistic and upbeat person, but these videos sometimes go a little dark as I take on the challenges of my life. So if you're interested in seeing that, you're welcome to join me. I do this on a live video format because I tend to do a better job if I do it in a public setting. I think that that's the case for many of us. If we just hide our efforts at self-improvement in our head, although there's a place for that for sure, I don't do as well. I rush through it. I'm not as comprehensive or thorough, and I don't get the benefit of feedback in terms of people's comments. Although it's pretty rare that anybody actually leaves any comments about the actual challenges and the opportunities. So just to let you know, anyone's welcome to do that. You can throw whatever you want at me. Good, bad, whatever. So further with my disclaimer. So not only do I not necessarily talk about Japan in this video, so if you found my videos by virtue of my Retiring in Japan series, or any of my other Japan-related videos, just know that this one video, which I do every day at the same time, is different from that. That's enough. But I do need to point out also that I sometimes talk about subjects that are sensitive to some people, most notably death. So that's something else to consider. And I want to also say thank you to my YouTube subscribers, my Patreon supporters, and my YouTube members for buying me my cup of coffee this morning. It's here at the Mini Stop convenience store in Shizuoka, Japan. I got the black small size coffee, fresh brewed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is 3 things. Same 3 things I do every darn day during this video. First, I'll talk about the last 24 hours and go over any challenges that I encountered. And then I'll talk about the 8 objectives of my creed. I may just touch on them, just name them each, or I may linger a little more detail on them, depends on how things go. And then 3, I'll talk about my plans for the coming day. I always keep a notebook with me at all times, and I have 1 page for every day, and I name every day. And the name of today is, March 6th, is English Teaching Day. And that will come up in just a second. So for the last 24 hours, I have 3 things listed here that were challenges that I faced. One was titled Allergy Ambush. I'm not wearing my mask right now, and this is because it's cedar pollen season here in Japan, and I'm very allergic to that. And the effects of allergies tend to strike me like I'm feeling sick, and it's a miserable feeling, and it robs me of my well-being and my interest in doing anything. I just want to lay on the floor in my room at our home, and like when you get sick and you just want to lay down and just wait it out, that's what happens. But it's not like that, because you can't wait it out. You go back out and it hits you again. And I'm a very outdoorsy type of guy. I'm not a sedentary person that will sit in one place very long. So I can't, even though I do have an air filter in my room, I could sit there with the windows and doors closed and run the air filter and have a nice clean environment. That's not how I want to live my life. So the challenge is that yesterday was that I was trying to balance that. I was wearing my mask, but I was forgetting sometimes, and I was walking this tightrope of well-being. Now, I knew this was going to happen. This was in my calculations in returning to Japan. I didn't really suffer from allergies living in Southern California. And in case you're new, I just recently moved back to Japan about 11 weeks ago. But I knew this was going to happen because I lived here before. And I decided that I would accept this as part of the consequence of returning to Japan. So there's nothing more to it other than to point it out. It's a problem that I knew would happen. It's like if I chose to live on a street where a guy with a big Harley Davidson that likes to rev his vroom, 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 vroom in the middle of the night, right? And then I moved away, but I really liked living on that street. And then I decided, well, there's an opportunity to live in a nice house on that street again, but that guy with the Harley's still down at the end of the cul-de-sac. He still lives there. Well, and he's the son-in-law of the police chief, so there's nothing I can do. I can't complain to the police because so I have a choice, right? If I decide I'm going to move back to that neighborhood, well, I have to kind of accept that the Harley rider is there. Came back to Japan, I have to accept that I call it allergy ambush is going to be part of my life, at least for certain seasons of the year. And I am aware of the options in terms of treatment, medication, etc. My whole family here in Japan suffer from this as well. My in-laws far worse than me, and so they're undergoing a whole battery of things. And I've done that too. I've seen the doctor here. I choose to not get medicated, but instead to simply wear a mask. I don't like being medicated. I just don't like the way it kind of takes the edge off my brain. My greatest hobby in life is thinking, and I don't like that. So and that sounds strange to say. It sounds like something some asshole would say, right? My hobby is thinking. But it really is. It really is. I really, really enjoy just walking. That's my tagline is I walk and think, because my hobby is literally walking and just soaking up what's going around on me and listening to the thoughts that are popping around in my head, because I'm a very positive, upbeat, optimistic person. So I see everything not just half full. I mean, I see everything brimming over. So when I'm walking through the landscape here in Japan, through an old countryside with farms and stuff, there's like this fountain in my brain, this fountain of positivity and beautiful thoughts that are just bubbling up. It's great fun. I've been like that since I was a boy, and I feel really lucky because I know some people look at the world and they see darkness and pain, and I know there is a lot of darkness and pain out there. It's not that I'm oblivious to that. It's just that my brain, by default, if you have a camera lens and you can tune that camera lens to the dark side, you're seeing everything black and white, or you can tune the camera lens on your filters on your phone. You can vibrant colors. My brain is fixed on that vibrant color mode all the time. And when I medicate myself, it dulls those colors. And that's what I mean when I say I don't want to take medication because I don't want to inhibit my thinking. I think I came up with a good way to describe it. I don't want to mute the colors in my mind. That's an even better way to say it, if I do say so myself. So I think there was a lot there for allergy ambush. So now maybe that helps you to understand, it helps me to understand so much why the allergies are such a pain in the butt. Because I don't want to be laying on my damn butt on my back in my room at my house when I could be out in the garden. I have so many things I want to do now that I'm retired, and I've got a house and a big garden to spend the rest of my life playing in. And I don't want allergies to be tying me down. And I'm not looking for solutions necessarily. I'm aware of the solutions that are out there. I just don't want to be medicated. I will wear my mask, and I will be with caution. And part of me just has to be more stoic and say, this is the consequence. I'm going to push through anyway, because it does work. When I kind of wake up and I realize, oh, it's just my allergies, I can push through, and I can kind of shove it aside. It's like dragging weights through a garden, I can do it. Okay, now the second bullet item on my list is called I got balance unpacking boxes. So I do these a video series on the other end of the day, although I upload it on YouTube in the morning lately, called Retiring in Japan. It's doing surprisingly well. I shouldn't say surprisingly well. I kind of knew it would do well if I could pull off the series well, because I know there's a huge interest in people wanting to come to Japan, capitalize on the Akiya craze, the empty houses, and a lot of people my age, I'm 60, who are entering the decade when people retire. And, for Americans, that's like 62 to 67 is retirement. American government considers, I'm an American, 67 is your full retirement age. So a lot of people, as they swoop into their 60s, are entering retirement. And a lot of people are discovering, for example, places like America, Canada, Australia, English-speaking places that I'm familiar with, that retirement is tricky. Real estate is expensive, cost of living is high, and Japan's looking awfully appealing. It's a good place to live. It's affordable. It's not expensive. Even without the yen exchange rate being what it is, even if it was back at 110, it's still quite an affordable way of life. So the series is doing well, and haven't missed a day for like 82 days of daily uploads, which isn't hard for me. I'm a prolific uploader. I've been doing daily uploads for forever and ever. But usually the style that I do with those videos is I do clips throughout the day, kind of vignettes of documenting what my wife Yumiko and I are doing throughout the day. Although it's mostly me, because even though Yumiko is interested in being a part of this, I don't want to go over. I can cross the line with my family, with everybody. I learned this a long time ago, because I'll document myself taking a dump if if I thought it would be interesting. And I don't want to cross the line with anybody. Even though Yumiko's interested, I would rather hold off and turn the camera to myself than put her in the camera. So maybe we're developing towards that. But the thing is, yesterday, it was a kind of a cold and dreary day with on and off rain, and I wanted to work in the garden, but instead I chose to take on a task that needed to be done, which was I needed to unpack the boxes in our house and put stuff away. We hadn't really unpacked yet. We were like travelers who had arrived at the hotel and thrown our suitcases on the bed, and we're like looking around the hotel. Let's go downstairs and look at the lobby. We'll unpack later. That's exactly what we were doing for a month. And then I decided that yesterday, because Yumiko was out most of the day taking her dad to some clinic appointments, and she had her own clinic appointment as well. I was alone with the dogs, and I couldn't work in the garden, so I decided to tackle the boxes. Now, I started to set up the camera to record me unpacking boxes, and then I realized I don't want to record this, because I don't mind sharing my own personal stuff with all of you, but as I lift things out of boxes, there are things in there that belong to my wife and my daughter, and it didn't feel right to trespass on their privacy in that way. So I elected to just keep the camera off, and I spent the whole darn day through mid-afternoon unpacking and sorting boxes, did a deep cleaning of the house. And when around about 2 or 3 o'clock, I realized that I didn't have anything recorded for my daily upload. And I had remember this video is about the challenges that I had, and I had this kind of an anxiety that rose as I think, oh my gosh, I've got nothing to upload for today's Retiring in Japan video. But quickly, very, very quickly, reason stays, hashtag reason. Reason is one of the principles of my Good Life Creed. which I'll talk about in a second, reason kicked in and said, but Kurt, you made a reasonable decision to not share those type of private things online. You did the right thing. And then another little voice in me was saying, but what am I going to upload? And then I said, well, then I have got this dialogue going on. You'll upload nothing, but then I won't be consistent with my series. And then, so you won't be consistent. You see where this is going, right? This ping pong back and forth. And I kind of had resigned myself that I wasn't going to have an upload that day, and that's just fine. And I do believe that that's okay to not have an upload, to miss a day, even though the days are numbered. Yesterday was day 82. However, around dinner time, I went down to Family Mart, and I came back, and I thought, I have something that I want to say, but it would be different from the usual vignettes. So I just took the camera and I went out to the garden and upended the crate that I put out there, the orange crate, to spill the water out, put a towel down, and I just sat down and I did what I've been doing for years, which is turn the camera on and talk at the camera about the experience of the day. And it came out well. I like making those types of videos, and I decided to call that a Retiring in Japan mini, and I just uploaded it. It's about 8 or 9 minutes long, and so it's more of like a personal observation of the day rather than a blow-by-blow video of the thing. So that's why I have this listed here. Balance the unpacking boxes. So I had a couple of ways that I could have done that. I could have shown you guys the boxes, which would have been the wrong thing to do. I could have skipped it a day altogether. That would have been fine too. Or I could have found a middle road, which is to do the mini version video, which I'm very pleased with. So the reason I'm pointing this out is that I was faced with a challenge to the new routine that I've settled on. I used reason to moderate my feelings about that, and I recognize what is within hashtag limits. I recognize what was within my limits and my capability. So I have the capability to fill that void with a simple soliloquy, so to speak, and I did so. And I came up with a new strategy. So the new minis will be, on days like that, I can do a mini. And I liked doing it from the garden. Okay, the last thing on my list. Remember, the title of this day is English Teaching Day. The third thing on my list is down about work. Now, I've got to be careful how I do this because I don't want to sound like a jerk. I'm recently retired. I'm 11 weeks into my retirement, and I am quite aware of how fortunate I am to be retired at age 60. So let me just say that, and I'm very aware and sensitive and I care very much about the fact that there's many people who are my age and can't or have decided not yet to retire. And I don't know how to balance this because I feel like a kid that got a really cool bicycle for Christmas. And how do you deal with that when you're hanging out with the other kids and they don't have a cool bicycle too, right? I mean, that's kind of exactly what it feels like all the time. So then to complain about the bicycle sounds like it's adding insult to injury, right? That's what I'm about to do. It feels like I'm complaining about my cool bicycle. Because here's the thing, I mentioned it in the last 2 days' videos that a friend of mine here in this community has an English school, and she needs some help. Her assistant teacher is leaving the country and going somewhere else, and she doesn't have anybody to cover a few of those classes. And so she reached out to me because she knows I'm back. We knew each other from before when I lived here before, and asked me to teach just 2 hours one day a week, today, Thursday, for 2 hours to cover the classes until she can find a replacement for that slot. I agreed to do that. So, but here's the thing. I really, really, really do not want to do this. And utterly astonished at how visceral this feeling is, and it's how gross I feel. And that's where it sounds really bad. I mean, again, I'm the kid with the cool bike saying, complaining about the bike. I mean, and it's not just that it's English teaching, because I don't like English teaching. Um, it's more the fact of going back to work. I didn't realize how much my brain had shifted out of the work mode into retired mode, and how much even though that being retired is challenging, how much I prefer this over work. And the anxiety about these two classes, which are going to be easy classes, they're high school and middle school kids, which are pretty easy to teach. And it's only until the end of April, so it's only what is it? Today's the second week of March, so what is it? 5 weeks? 5 times I have to do it. It's just 5 classes. Yet, I'm really struggling with this. So remember, this video is about talking about my struggles, and um, I haven't been able to reconcile this. I keep telling myself, well, I'm going to help my friend, and I will get paid for this. So it's a win-win for everybody, but I don't want to do this. I'm going to do it. So I don't, I got this really cool bicycle, but the chrome doesn't shine quite as nice as I'd like. Do I sound like an asshole? I'll just check that one off. I'll do that tonight, and we'll see how that all goes. Okay, for the next 24 hours, it shouldn't rain until this evening. The soil should be nice and moist, but it hasn't. But I think it's drained pretty well. So I'm hoping, unless something else comes up, that I can spend the day in my big rubber boots until I have to teach this English class in the evening, after late afternoon. I hope I can spend the day in the garden, tackling the bamboo roots in the garden trail. I'm using that garden trail more and more often, and it really is a hazard. There's bamboo spikes that stick up. Nobody should be walking back there. I walked back there through the dark last night. That was stupid. So I'm hoping to get out there, and it should be helpful now that the soil is moist, that maybe I can dig those roots out a little better. And I did get the comment from one of you about the Makita reciprocating saw. That's on my buying list, but I really do want to dig the roots out of these things, because I don't want them coming back. So even though I could use these Makita saw to cut the bamboo at this ground level, I want to pull those whole roots out, because I want to make a nice garden path from our house through the bamboo forest to our backyard by the river. Doesn't that sound nice? Wow, the way it came out. Okay, that's that for that. Let's see, I'll read comments now. Worth Doing Badly, good morning to you, Worth Doing Badly. And Busy Lizzie says hello. Matt, hi Matt. Good morning to you. M3 Low Funk. Oh, you taught me how to pronounce your name before. Milo Funk. You taught me. I thought you taught me. I'm not saying it right though. Aye, nice. You sounds like a pirate. Aye, nice to catch your streams. Sorry, it came out like a pirate. Last time I caught a stream, I felt bad you were getting bothered by that one guy asking if you wear some gloves or something. I don't know. Yeah, that guy was interesting, right? He showed up like for 3 days asking me if I would wear gloves. You remember that. Finally, Thunder Turtle. Hi, Thunder Turtle. First time I've seen your name. Finally caught the good life live. Hi to everybody. Hi, Kurt. Hi to you, Milo Funk. I can't really think of retiring differently from what I want to do, but it's because my main career I want to go into is art. Got it. So you'd be retiring doing the same thing that you're already doing, or that you want to do. Mainly doing designs, illustrations, etc. I'll still make stuff if I retire. LOL. Got it. And yeah, and then yeah, LOL. That's a comment to Milo Funk. Renaissance. Hey, Renaissance. Bamboo requires you keep removing the new sprouts once a year. It is easy if you do not skip years. Got it. Oh no, muted. Muted? Can you hear me now? I did accidentally hit the screen, but I hope it's sound is gone. Read his lips. Sound is gone. We can't hear you. Hello. There we go. Somehow I must have hit there is a mute button. My finger must have hit it there. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm glad it's back up and running. The mute button is right there, and my finger just tapped it. Do you plan on going back to the USA from time to time? I don't really have any plans to go back to the USA at all. It's funny, I picture myself doing that. I think my wife would be more interested in going back to the USA. I feel like everything that I ever wanted to do there is done. Maybe to see my family, but actually I would rather just have them come visit me, my niece and nephew, send them an airplane ticket to come visit. Looking forward to seeing how the garden will evolve over time. You and me both. And traveling in Japan. I don't have a lot of plans to travel in Japan either. What I would like to do after the dogs are gone, dead, is take my wife around the world. I've traveled a lot around the world, and I have a lot of beautiful countries that I would like to take and show her. And it's going to, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to leave the dogs. So then, so we'll wait. I think we'll just hang out here until the dogs are no longer here, and then travel the world. Am I going to become a Japanese citizen? No, I will not become a Japanese citizen. How do you feel at your current age? Did you notice a difference compared to your 30s, 40s, and 50s? Yes, huge difference. So especially going from the last 3 or 4 years, big change going on. Basically, my body is beginning to wind down. I can feel decrepitude and death sneaking up on me now. Finally caught this live. Hey, Jonathan, nice to see you here. But basically, for 30s, 40s, and 50s, pretty much all felt the same. Only slight differences. It wasn't until about 57, 58 that I started to really notice my muscle tone started to flag, and my mental acuity began to wane. Everything, basically, my eyesight, everything is starting to go. All right, everybody. Well, I think I'm going to sign off for now. Whoop, there's another comment. Oh no, I hope your lifestyle can revert this effect. It's okay if it doesn't. I will be one of the, I forgot to go over the 8 objectives of the creed, didn't I? Here we go. They are, and this will answer your question. First objective is to be always ready to die, and I am. Second is to make good and effective use of time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. 7, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly, deliberately, and carefully. And 8, to keep my balance. So that answers your question about, I hope it can revert the effect. I don't think it will. I think that this is a natural progression. I live a very healthy life. I eat well. I get lots of exercise. It's just time for my body to start to wind down. It's a normal thing. Death is on its way. And I am ready to die, at least to the best of my ability. My affairs are in order. My relationships are sound. My life's work is complete. I've raised my daughter. My career is done. My book is written. So death can come anytime. I think I'm ready. I don't want it to come. I got a lot more fun to do, especially out in the garden. And with that, I'll go ahead and stop for today. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. See you tomorrow if you care to join me. Bye bye.